Hey, you fire.
You're listening to The HEARTSICK Boys by Matt Schultz.
Hey. Have you ever seen a movie about someone who finds a big bag of money? I bet you have. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Like, No Country for Old Men is one. Remember that? With the pale guy? Has like a Lou Ferrigno 70s Hulk haircut? Kills people with that vacuum? It's on TNT all the time. Flips that coin.
Will you hold still, please, sir?
Okay. What is this? What is this? Where's all the money?
That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
Dumb and Dumber is another movie like that. Pretty similar idea there. In that one, the two guys, Dumb and Dumber, I guess, they find a briefcase full of cash. Then they get tracked down cross country by that real hefty guy in the leather jacket. Has like pointy features, kind of a flushed face. They end up killing that hefty guy, Dumb and Dumber do. It's played for laughs, but I don't know. Dying alone, killed by peppers, taunted by two laughing imbeciles, spittle and like little pieces of hamburger bun flying out of their mouths and landing on the poor guy's face. I don't see what's so funny about that. And there's tons of others too, movies, I'm saying, in this like found dirty money genre. I once read a whole list of movies like this on Vulture or Screen Rant. Rent? Screen Rent? I don't know, Screen something. Could have been IMDb. They do lists too. Anyway, what I'm getting at is this. In these movies, it's always the same premise, pretty much. If you find and take a big bag of money, you're in danger. Because in these movies, someone is always looking for that money, which means that person is now looking for you. But that's not real life. That's not what always happens. And I know from experience, man, because I found a big bag of money. Yeah, with $2 million in it. And I took it. And there was never any guy in a Pete Rose haircut prowling around trying to kill me. But I will say this, what happened to me instead, like the place where this story kinda goes, I think it was a lot worse. But hey, all that comes later. I think for now I should just like ease you in before things get all messed up. Yeah, for starters, let me catch you up on what's going on in Jason's world. That's me, by the way, Jason. Hey. And then we can just chug along from there. Yeah, cool. Let's do that. Let's start with Jason's world.
I thought she'd always be here. I shouldn't have assumed. She even took the mirrors. She cleared out every room. My face used to be smooth, moisturized day and night, but the lotion was hers too, and I don't know which brand to love.
Chapter 1, Jason's World.
So in my life, it's kind of hard to find quiet. And the reason is because where I live, in a small house right on the edge of northeast Philadelphia. Well, my house is located 20 yards away, diagonal across this tiny street from a shopping center. But it's like the side of the shopping center, which in my opinion is the worst part. So for my front stoop, I'm looking at cinder block walls painted tan, and permanently wet loading docks, and dumpsters with one lid open, one lid closed, winking at me. There's trash on the ground over there, trash that always blows over into my front yard. Yeah, man, this dumpster area trash is always blowing over into my front yard. So each morning I have to go outside with a little trash bag and pick up empty bottles of muscle milk and black plastic trays from microwave lasagnas and Starbucks dome lids and burrito tinfoil balled into small roundish wads. There's straw wrappers and long receipts, papery stuff, you know? And then when it rains, it like melds into my soil, becoming this unpleasant tooth-colored mush. It's all kinds of trash the breeze sends my way, man. Even like, I once found a pair of 3D glasses in my front yard, all crumpled up, with red and blue lenses. I don't know what the story is there. I don't think they're making 3D movies anymore. I mean, I know they're not making 3D TVs. I had one. Then ESPN 3D just like cut out. It was 2011, somewhere around there. 1 minute Michael Wilbon is basically on my coffee table, and then he's gone. And I'm just sitting there in the dark, wearing these glasses. And all that is to say nothing of the people I see 20 yards away from my house by the side of this shopping center. It's all teens, man. Just a never-ending revolving door of teenagers on break from their jobs. 19-year-olds in SolidWorks golf shirts yelling into their phones.
You owe me money, Mauricio. You tinted my car windows too much. I can't see. You effed me. You effed me out of $700. I can't see. It's like driving a cocoon.
I got this one guy, he's a CVS cashier. He's always out there sitting on a milk crate, his pinkish face always turned down toward his phone. And in turn, he's pointing his scalp, sadly and prematurely balding in a horseshoe pattern, directly at my bedroom window. This is what I see when I open my blinds in the morning, and it's not great. But the worst part of living where I live, 20 yards off and diagonal to the side of this strip mall, it's that the storefront closest to my house, like the one on the very end of the shopping center, that store is a Quest Diagnostics, and it hums. The whole store, I'm saying, man. From 6 a.m. to midnight every day, this entire store makes this loud, whirring humming noise that pierces pretty easily through the thin walls of my small house. It's so loud, man, I don't even know how to Okay, alright, so for instance, I was just watching Shallow Hal. It was on TBS.
Excuse me, did you move us?
No. Second table on the right.
Well, then maybe you can explain to me why that robust woman is eating my girlfriend's Hey, now she's eating my Clams Casino!
And as I'm watching the whole end part of the movie, when Hal realizes he loves that woman, even though she weighs more than Hal wants her to weigh, during that whole sweet, tender stretch when there's pauses and tension, and we don't know if the heavyset woman is going to take Hal back. Well, that whole time, I couldn't think about love. I could only think about Quest Diagnostics. I've called the township about it, and I was like, hey man, what's going on in there with the humming? And the guy was like,
I don't know, it's probably like a big fridge, man. You know, they take blood in there. It's probably like a big fridge.
Big fridge? I mean, it hums all day.
Yeah, because blood has to stay cold, man. Like, really cold. Can't just leave blood out willy-nilly. There's a whole science to it.
So with my small house being overtaken by buzzes and hums every day at 6 a.m., if I ever want quiet time, I have to get up before 6, so that's what I do. A few times a week, I wake up at 5 a.m. and I go out on a quiet walk before my world is all buzzes and whirs. I always do the same route too. I start by walking behind the shopping center, then I cross over Roosevelt Boulevard. There's this real nice neighborhood over there I like to pretend I live in. There's no, shiny blue bags of mini Oreos in front yards. There's no 3D glasses either. And it was during one of these walks when, here's what happened. I'm walking behind the shopping center, and out the corner of my eye, I see what I first believed to be an animal, all hunched. Dead, I figured. And I thought, if that's a cat, I can't just leave it, right? I should call someone, right? I don't know. I started feeling bad for this dead cat I created in my mind. But then I get closer to the heap and see that it's not a dead cat. It's a brown paper bag plopped against the back door to the Quest Diagnostics. And this close, I can see this bag is filled with cash. And a note. The note read,
"Half now, half later. We'll see you on Lonely Street. With love, the Heartsick Boys."
Now, all this was nonsense to me. Lonely Street, the Heartsick Boys, I had no idea what those two things were. So I Googled them both later on. First was Lonely Street.
Lonely Street.
The results were all these twangy, sad sack, country western songs from the 50s. Dozens of them, all with the lyrics Lonely Street somewhere in the song. It was a very common lyric. It seemed like in the 50s, a popular genre of music was singers pretending to be cowboys that no one liked or enjoyed spending time with. Elvis, Marty Robbins, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, all those guys dressed in cowboy hats and bandanas and the shirts with the fringes dangling off the sleeves. And on album covers, they'd stand in a brown field and hold a fake pistol and do a very slight crouch meant to indicate they're ready to shoot. Then they'd only ever sing about how they have no wife and no friends and felt very lonely. And the songs are pretty good. I mean, truthfully, I have been listening to them a lot. But as far as the money I found and the note, this Google search didn't help. Lonely Street's not a real place. If you say you're on Lonely Street, that just means you're lonely, I guess. So yeah. Next, I Googled the Heartsick Boys.
The Heartsick Boys.
The big result for that was this movie from 1952 called The Heartsick Boys. It starred Wink Petterstone and Mickey the Mule Cicero. I read the summary on Wikipedia and it said,
"Two burglars on the lam hop aboard a cross-country train and convince two well-to-do broads that they're famous dancers, leading to quite the tango."
I thought about renting it on demand for $5.99, but I decided not to. In the trailer, it was pretty clear that the two main guys, they tap danced several times through the film. Like whole dances, I'm saying, through entire songs. And I don't know, I mean, maybe if I had someone around to watch with, so during the tap dance numbers we could, talk and just hang out. But I don't know, watching tap dancing alone, one guy on a table tapping away, and then he stops and looks at the other guy, and then he does his whole tap dance turn, and then back to the first guy who's prepared with a whole nother set of moves. All this happening on an old fancy train where people had bedrooms and lamps. I don't know, it's just not a dynamic thing to watch. Maybe if they threw in a flip every now and then, or some ground moves. I guess that'd just be breakdancing. Anyway. So when I found the bag of money right there on the ground behind the Quest Diagnostics, I looked around and saw I was completely alone in the early morning darkness. And I picked the bag up and I took it to my house. I mean, $2 million just sitting there, who wouldn't? But as I carried the money home, I made a decision in regards to safety. Before spending any of this money, I would wait 1 full month, just in case someone came looking for it. And if someone did come knocking, I just give the money back. See, people in these movies, they never want to give the money back. That's where you run into problems. That's when you got the no country guy looking for you with his coin. But not me, man. Someone comes looking for this bag and they're intimidating looking, even a little, wearing sturdy boots, black denim. Hey, take the money back, man. It's all there. No harm, no foul. And then a month passed, and no one came knocking or calling or anything. And I even waited an extra 2 weeks after that, and there was still nothing. So yeah, I was in the clear. Just like that, I had $2 million, which was pretty cool, until everything went sideways.
Chapter 2. A brief meditation on wind turbine technicians and the functionality of a shaved head.
For the last few years, I had been working as a wind turbine technician. We're the guys who climb up on those big white fans you see all clustered together. We maintain them. It's not a terrible job, I guess. It was nice having a clear-cut purpose like that. Just maintain. But I definitely didn't have a passion for the work or anything like that. See, I didn't go to college, and I wanted something that paid good, like a trade. And if you Google it, what's a decent paying, growing job right now that you don't need a degree for? One of the top results is wind turbine technician. I read about it on Forbes.com. It was something like,
meet the 28-year-old getting paid to travel the world, since wind is really all over.
I mean, all that sounded pretty cool. Travel the world, farmlands, ocean, parts. Why not? Get away from my humming house a few weeks at a time. And the money, I mean, the quotes from the guy in the article really sold me. Stuff like,
wind is money. Think about it. Wind is money. And wind is everywhere, which means you're breathing money. So I've made my lungs the wallet to put the wind inside them. And wind is made every day by the earth, the waves, the moon, gravity, that sort of thing, which means earth prints cash.
But turned out, once I got into it, I didn't really like the job much. First of all, and I know I should have thought of this beforehand, but the big problem with being a wind turbine technician, it's just too windy. Like, we're way up in the air, man, and that high up, the winds are just blasting. The noise alone was, it made the quest whirring humming seem pleasant, almost, by comparison. Then there's the practical problems that come with being in that kind of wind. The biggest problem on that front, your hair blows all over. For that reason, all the guys I worked with shaved their heads, but I didn't want to shave my head. See, I got this head shape that, well, when I was a kid, I buzzed my head once. It was the look, Justin Timberlake. But I discovered then that the top of my head had all these, I wouldn't call them lumps. They were more like slopes. My head, it sloped this way and that. And for that reason, ever since I found that out about the slopes, I style my hair kind of upward, like a wave or a small tower. I'm comfortable that way. But up on those fans, with that wind, it was rough. Hats wouldn't help. They just blow away. I lost a lot of good hats up there, like 6, 7 hats. And meanwhile, all the other wind turbine techs I worked with, all the guys with the shaved heads, they'd give me a hard time, tease me, because I wouldn't shave my head with them. Stuff like,
there he is, Mr. Gel!
Hey, what are you hiding under there, secret scalp?
Yeah, tower hair, head and shoulders.
Got so much hair on that head.
I don't know, lean tower hair guy.
Who said secret scalp? That's pretty good. That's funny.
It didn't hurt my feelings or anything, but I don't know. I mean, if you're hearing this day in, day out, I mean, if people yell anything at you very loudly over a long period of time, eventually it does take its toll. Also, I don't know. I never really hit it off with the other wind turbine techs the way I had hoped. When we travel, we always stayed together in a big Airbnb, save money. I thought it'd be fun, like firefighters, brotherhood, that sort of thing. But the problem was my interests didn't really align with theirs. See, wind turbine techs have a very small window of things they're interested in. So on days off when I'd say, "Hey, fellas, we're in Florida here, man. It's a beautiful day. Let's go swimming with the dolphins. Wouldn't that be cool? Like 8 of us buddies swimming around with dolphins." They were never interested. 'Cause even on days off, they'd want to do more high-up climbing type stuff. They were addicted to being high up in the air, that feeling you get in your stomach, I guess. So they'd want to mountain climb, or clean skyscraper windows for extra cash, or stand on observation decks and just look. Or if it was raining, they'd stay in the house and shave each other's heads. So during my stint as a wind turbine technician, I spent a lot of time alone, and it got, I mean, have you ever swam with dolphins alone? I bet not, because no one ever does, except me. Picture that. Families, little kids splashing around, and they're all looking at me like, who's this guy petting dolphins without saying a word to anyone? Not even the instructor. Riding the dolphin, totally expressionless. Anyway. So all that to say, when I found this big bag of money and thought, what should I do with it now that I'm in the clear? Now that I know there's nobody looking for me? First thing I did was quit my job. I quit being a wind turbine tech, which felt pretty good. But then, after a few days, just sitting in my house not doing anything. Now what,
Chapter 3. In a foster home, rear naked chokes spread like wildfire.
My dad was a Philadelphia police detective, and honestly, I was never really pumped about that. It's a dangerous job, man. I mean, I don't think anyone would want their dad out every night snooping around the city, looking for, crimes. Especially as dads get older, into their late 50s, 60s, and they start losing their fastball. Their internal sense for when there's food on their face, or when a big sliver of their bare soft stomach becomes visible while reaching for something overhead, or they can't bend over to put shoes on without getting red-faced and breathing noisily. I don't know, I worry a lot. And I guess I was always worried something bad was going to happen to my dad while he was out on the street doing his detective work. And then it did. A few years ago, while he was out working an investigation, my dad disappeared. He was presumed dead. And, yeah, that was really hard. Then 3 months later, after the dust had pretty much settled, my dad reappeared. Neighbors saw him through his living room window in his recliner, watching the food that built America. And of course, I was ecstatic when I heard. I mean, my dad was alive, but not entirely. See, when my dad returned, he was a lot different than he was before. New dad was numb. Like a mannequin, I guess, in a trance. My dad wouldn't talk. He didn't register people talking to him. He stared, but didn't seem to see anything. My dad was a shell. Shell dad.
Shell dad.
He couldn't tell me how he ended up like this, let alone where he was for those 3 months he was gone, or how he got back to his house. And I didn't know what else to do, so I took him to some doctors, hoping they could at least tell me what this condition was. The doctors looked him up and down and ran a million tests, and in the end, their diagnosis was...
He looks wrong. You can observe that with your own eyes.
Neurologically, his attic lights have been blown, okay? And likely shattered.
You're seeing here that he may live, but he probably won't be able to enjoy it. Whereas for me, I get to go home and I, of course, have a beautiful family and I'm in great health. And unfortunately, you get the idea. He's bad.
Yeah, no real science in there at all. The doctors couldn't find anything medically wrong with him, and in their puzzled frustration, they let quite a few digs slip into their assessment. Whether on purpose or not, I don't know. But they did sting.
Outlook-wise, son, being realistic, your father, he won't be going on many dates anytime soon, if ever again. And in many ways, romance is the spice of life.
The imaging results do confirm our eyes telling us he's a fool, right? Which we knew already, of course. He didn't come in here great, but he is leaving with a fool's gaze, limp mouth.
It's not on his chart here, but your father has a musk to him. Sour and sharp, like fast food brought onto a plane. Not pleasant. I'm gonna write that in.
And these medical tests, by the way, the ones that only led to insults, they cost a lot of money. And at that time, I was doing all right with my wind turbine tech job. But still, I wondered, why should I have to pay for this? I mean, my dad was hurt while he was working as a detective for the police. So I went down to the police department HR and I asked for workers' comp. And they said,
workers' comp? For what? He's fine.
What? No, he's not. I mean, look at him. Do you see him standing here? He was abducted, gone for 3 months, and when he comes back, he can't talk or... I mean, come on, this is...
Well, hey, we don't see it that way.
Well, how do you see it?
Well, we think he doesn't want to talk.
Come on, man, why wouldn't he want to talk?
Oh, people don't talk for all kinds of reasons. He could be shy, he could be embarrassed. He could be tongue-tied. Maybe he saw a woman and he's, doesn't know how to say, he's stunned.
No, he's definitely not shy or embarrassed, man. He's like sick or shell-shocked, from the kidnapping. The kidnapping that happened while he was working for you. I mean, this is like...
Son, if he was kidnapped, then why is he so tan? Why is he so tan?
That's the other thing. My dad, when he returned, he was really very tan. We took the claim to court and the judge ruled that with a tan like that, my dad clearly wasn't kidnapped. He was on vacation. The judge went as far as to say, if that's the kind of tan you get when you're kidnapped, sign me up to get kidnapped. The bailiff laughed, which made the judge laugh at his own quip. That tan really set us back a pretty penny. Around this same time, it was becoming obvious my dad couldn't live on his own anymore. He'd just sit there in a chair all day, not brush his teeth or drink water. He'd wear the same big shiny basketball shorts for days at a time. Sleep shorts, these were, an old pair of And Ones. But he wouldn't change out of them when his day started. And so the days in these same shorts just kept adding up. Disgusting. So I talked with my Aunt Gertie, and we came up with this deal. I would pay for all my dad's expenses, and she would take him in to live with her since her house was bigger. But turned out, Aunt Gert's house wasn't ideal for my dad. See, she's a foster mom. That's what my aunt does for, money. But the kids that my aunt had already taken in to live with her, and my dad, they just didn't gel. The young ones, toddlers to 10-year-olds, they were terrified of him. Which I do get. I mean, my dad couldn't even blink on his own, so his eyes would just tear up. I mean, without blinking, there's no moisture reallocation. It all just drips nonstop. So imagine being 8 years old and seeing this unblinking old man staring at you, dead looking, tears streaming down his tan face. So the kids would put him in the pantry, or the yard, or across the street at a park once, sitting in the wood chips under the slide. They were trying to hide him, just so they didn't have to look at him. Then there was the older kids, the preteens and the teenagers. They would practice judo chokeholds on him.
No, what you want to do, slip your right arm under his neck, then get your left arm around the back of his head like a vice. Keep going. Squeeze, restrict the blood flow. Oh, he's wiggling. His toes are splaying out. He's dancing. And he should pass out. Shh. Night.
Reverse cross choke, rear naked choke, triangle choke, guillotine choke, sliding lapel choke. In a foster home, these moves spread like wildfire. I'd bring my dad lunch and he'd be out cold, face down on the hardwood, his neck all red and irritated from the latest grappling session. They're troubled kids. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you what though, man. The thing that kinda hurt the most? Sometimes when I'd visit my dad, I got this sense that some people in the house, my aunt included, were using him as furniture. I'd find Coach draped over him like he's a chair, or some half-eaten dinner plates stacked on his lap like no one felt like carrying them to the sink, or the Roku and Comcast remotes like balanced on his knee area. And I don't know, that was pretty hard to see. Like, he's a person, you know? He has a name. It's Ray.
Ray.
He's not a, cabinet. Anyway. So when I found this big bag of money and I'd already quit my job, getting my dad out of that foster home was next. So I moved him into this luxury apartment down in Rittenhouse. I went with the fanciest one I could find online. This place had everything. Picnic table rooftop area, skyline views that my dad could look at if I pointed his chair that direction. Artsy light fixtures in the lobby looked like big eye floaters. It was all really nice. I also hired this live-in aide to live with him and aide. Her name's Rita. She's great. I actually thought she seemed pretty cool. And I don't know, I couldn't picture her using my dad's thighs like a coffee table. So yeah, that was that. I was so rich I didn't have to work anymore. I got my dad all set up. Things were going pretty good. Not that it would last.
Chapter 4. Your forearm is bleeding. Or Comradery and Belonging.
Did you know your likelihood of developing Alzheimer's increases by 18% for every year that passes after you retire? Yeah, man, it's messed up. How we're like hardwired to have purpose or something. And when you don't have to work or have a job, you just, I don't know, you're missing something. I was, at least, just sitting in my house by myself every day, watching TV. So I decided to branch out. I figured with all the time and money I got now, I should try mixing things up, get out of the house. First, I tried this poetry class, the poetry of questions.
Welcome, everyone, welcome. You there, with the tall hair, I don't recognize you. Is this your first day with us?
Yeah, I'm new. I saw the posting and I thought I'd try.
No, sir, what I said to you was a poem. An example of how a simple question holds beauty. For oftentimes, questions provide more answers than answers do. And therein lies their power. Don't you see?
Should I answer that one? Or... Then I took this handwriting analysis class.
You see these swoops you're doing right here? Yeah, these like fat swoops on your lowercase e's.
Oh, yeah.
So those are some like fat swoops.
Oh, are fat swoops bad?
I mean, swoops this fat mean you're feeling intense longing. Like, intense longing.
Longing for what?
The swoops don't say.
Then I thought, maybe I should volunteer. That'd be a nice thing to do. So I volunteered at this animal shelter.
Okay, when I open his crate, you spray the dry shampoo, no dilly-dallying.
Your forearm is bleeding?
And make sure you get his stinky little behind too. He needs it.
Did this dog bite you already? Is that why we're tag teaming
I'm
this right
opening
now?
this in 5, 4,
Wait, I don't think-
3,
I
2,
think-
1.
But nothing really stuck. I don't know. I felt like I was grasping at straws. I still felt like the same. Then I found the flyer on the Starbucks bulletin board.
Learn to play bass. Barely anyone plays bass. People will beg you to be in their band. You'll be in multiple bands. Flea, Sting, Gene Simmons, now you. Beginner's welcome. Call now.
And that's when I thought, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
Chapter 5, Bass Lessons.
Hey.
Hey, Eric, right? I'm Jason. I'm here for the bass lesson.
Whoa. What do you got there?
What?
You took down my whole bulletin posting? You brought in the whole flyer?
Oh, yeah.
You were just supposed to take one of the tassels. That's why they're cut like that. At the bottom, with my phone number on each little thing, you were just supposed to rip one off.
Oh, man. I thought that was like for decoration.
How could you think that? Some people already took some. How could it be decoration?
I thought it was like for flair. Tassels, they're usually for flair.
Come on, man. I gotta go tape it up again. Give me that. I'm like never down that way. Near the Starbucks, I'm like never down there.
I'm sorry.
Where's your bass?
Oh, yeah, I don't have one.
You're at a bass lesson without a bass?
Well, yeah, it said beginner's welcome, so I thought we'd use yours, pass it back and forth.
That's not really how it works.
Oh.
Would get pretty annoying, passing one bass back and forth like that. It'd get really annoying.
Yeah. Well, what about singing lessons? Would you ever give singing lessons? I thought she'd always be here. I shouldn't have assumed. She even took the mirrors when she cleared out every room. My face used to be smooth, moisturized day and night, but the lotion was hers too. And I don't know which brand to buy. Should I keep going?
Do you want to?
You got any water?
I got LaCroix.
Throat kind of hurts and jaw. You ever get that from singing?
I don't know. I don't sing much. I play bass.
Yeah. So is this your main job, doing bass lessons, or what else do you do? Or
yeah, this is it. I just do it for fun, extra cash. I don't really have to worry about money, so.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was this medical malpractice thing a while back. This settlement.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, I don't care. My ex-wife, this was years ago. She got pregnant, and the doctors gave her this vitamin. They thought it was a vitamin, at least, and then the baby grew in flat.
What?
Yeah, the baby came in flat, like a big coin or like a small manhole cover.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
From the vitamin this happened?
And that's what the court ruled, yeah. And so we got the settlement, and then later we got divorced, much later, and we split everything. So, yeah, we're both still set on money from that.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I recently came into some money myself.
Hey, nice.
Yeah. It's been kind of tough, figuring out what to do now that I don't have to.
That's our time for the lesson.
Oh.
Yeah. I gotta hit the hay.
You go to bed when? At 8?
Yeah. I'm in this running group. It's pretty legit, and it's early mornings.
All right. Gotcha. I've actually been thinking about trying running. I'm trying to get into all these new hobbies. Where do you guys usually...
Full.
What's that?
The group, it's full. Sorry, man. We got 9 people. It's a hard cap after that. 9 people.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's just that the guy who runs the group, Charlie, good guy, great runner, but he's like real strict about keeping it 9. Any more than that gets sloppy. We tend up taking the whole street up. People sag, sloppy.
With just one more guy?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if you could like see the way we run. I mean, we're called the 9-ballers.
What?
Yeah, like the billiards game, 9-ball. You know how the way the balls are racked in that game? It's not the regular pooled triangle rack. It's that skinnier one. Kind of looks like a diamond. That's the shape we run in to stay organized. It stays real tight that way.
Yeah. There are technically 10 balls in 9-ball, though. With the cue ball makes 10.
I should really hit the hay, man.
I could use a friend to buy me a drink. Ask me how I've been and talk about TV, but nobody is calling. First here, lonesome cowboy tried small talk with a FedEx guy. He seemed busy in the north.
Chapter 6. Disappearances, Cowboys, and a forest green Mini Cooper.
The week after my bass lesson, that was the week when everything started to come apart. It was all messed up.
The first reason that week was messed up.
Well, my dad started wandering at night. Like all night, he'd just be gone. Then the next morning, he'd always be back in his building lobby, sitting in one of the firm gray couches with short backs in the lobby sitting area where no one ever spends time. And he'd always be in his same old shell dad state. It didn't make any sense. I asked his aide about it, the one I was paying to live with him and keep an eye on him, Rita, and she says,
he goes barefoot.
Yeah. All right, but what does that mean? He goes barefoot.
You can walk very quietly barefoot, very gentle. He sneaks by when I sleep. He's a sneaky barefoot devil.
All right, yeah. Well, can't you try to stay awake? Make sure he doesn't sneak by you, or...
I tried to stay awake, but your father is so boring.
Obviously, my dad wouldn't tell me anything, where he was going. He'd just stare at me, same as always, tears dripping off his bronze chin.
The second reason that week was messed up.
This same week, I started seeing the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
How can I describe these Cowboys? Well, just imagine 2 cowboys. That's pretty much what they looked like. In their 40s or 50s, somewhere in there, with the boots and the hats and the thin ties they like to wear, like a shoelace hanging down. And these were not the 1950s singer kinds either. I'm pretty sure I was looking at 2 real cowboys here. They were covered in dust, man. Full dust. Their faces, too, were pretty much wrecked from sun exposure, with deep wrinkles zigzagging every which way in the intricate and unfortunate pattern of a new car tire's tread. Their teeth were the glossy brown of a nice belt. And I saw these cowboys everywhere that week, man. Outside the grocery store, outside my window by the winking dumpster, on my quiet morning walks. And every time I saw them, it was always the same thing. The 2 of them would be standing outside their car. The one cowboy would be staring right at me, dead in the eye. And the other cowboy? Well, he'd be leaning against their car, eating a snack. But always a snack that, in my opinion, is intended mostly for children. Long rectangle packages of peanut butter crackers, the orange ones. Or Little Debbie treats, tons. A whole impressive array of zebra cakes and cosmic brownies and Nutty Buddies and pecan spin wheels and Swiss cake rolls. Or fat, 2-toned sour gummy worms, thick as a thumb, popped into his mouth like Advil 5 or 6 at a time. And whenever I'd see these cowboys, right when they saw me notice them, the 2 would very calmly get into their forest green Mini Cooper and drive off. Yeah, man. 2 cowboys in Northeast Philly. eating children's snacks, driving around in a forest green Mini Cooper. What's the story there, you know?
The third reason that week was messed up.
It was that Friday, 7 a.m. I'd gotten up early for my quiet walk, then thought, why not take my dad out for a bite? So I drive over, park in front of his building, and in my rear view across the street, I see the Mini Cooper. Then I see the children's snacks cowboy get out of the passenger seat, fold his chair down, and my dad gets out of the Mini Cooper. Oh, hey, what are you doing with my dad? But they just peeled out. But for the first time, being that close to the car, I finally made out the license plate. It was a vanity plate from Florida, and it said, less than sign /3, which makes a broken heart, or a heartsick heart.
A heartsick heart.
I could use a friend to buy me a drink. Ask me how I've been. Or we could talk about TV, but nobody's calling. For this here lonesome cowboy tried small talk with a FedEx guy. He seemed busy and annoyed.
You know, that symbol doesn't mean heartsick. On the license plate, it means like heartbroken.
Yeah, but like, come on. It connects. It has to. And if it is them, if the Cowboys are the Heartsick Boys, it means they're like looking for me, you know, because I found their money.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You said yourself you've seen these cowboys all over town, and they've seen you. So if you mattered to them, wouldn't they have confronted you by now?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. The whole thing seems like a stretch. The license plate, it seems like a stretch.
Well, come on. Something is up here, right? It all means something.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just a bunch of stuff that happened.
Did I tell you, by the way, that I Googled it, the Heartsick Boys? The only thing that came up is this movie from like 1952. Stars Wink Petterstone and Mickey the Mule Cicero.
Okay.
Wink is the guy's real name. Believe that? W-I-N-K.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. Only costs like $6 for rent on demand. I don't know, I'm thinking I should watch it, you know? Maybe there's like clues in there.
I should hit the hay.
Chapter 7. Stay away from Lonely Street.
I didn't see the Mini Cooper anymore after that. Or the Cowboys, which was good, I guess. But also, I don't know. I couldn't follow them now, which meant I had no leads on whatever was going on. Except my dad. He was still wandering out every night, so I decided to follow him. It was a few days later. I waited across the street from his building in my car, staked out, keeping an eye out for him. It was so boring. But finally, around 3 a.m., here he came, climbing down the fire escape of his place. No shoes or socks on, like Rita said. Disgusting. So I followed him on foot. He was walking pretty fast, really moving with purpose. Soon he went down to the subway, and I followed. Right as he got to the platform, the train arrived, and I just barely made it on in time. I was in the train car right behind his, attached, so I could watch him through the window. And there he was, in his seat in this otherwise empty car. And he seemed different. Almost normal, I guess. He was sitting up straight, blinking the standard amount one should blink. And he was writing in a notebook. A small one, kind fits in your pocket. And this went on for a while. Just writing and blinking. Then the subway stopped, and my dad sprinted off the train fast. Faster than I'd seen him move in years. And I followed, trying to keep up. It all happened so quick, man. But as I ran after my dad, I realized, wait a second, we're all the way past downtown. We're at the Navy Yard right now. I could see all the huge, pointless, rusty boats towering over us along the Delaware River, and I'm thinking, what are we doing here? What is happening? Then I saw my dad run down one of the docks. He ran all the way to the edge, and then he jumped. Dad, wait! Jesus Christ! But he was gone, and then the boat started. My dad had jumped onto this medium-ish boat that I could see now as it turned on its huge floodlights on its mast. Then the boat sped off down the Delaware, its bright light shrinking as the boat disappeared into the dark. And then I was alone again. I took the subway back uptown, heading home, and my head was swimming. Like, what is going on? What is this? Then something slid into my foot. It was my dad's notebook, the one I saw him writing in. I opened it to the page his pen was still holding open. And it said there, in my old man's handwriting, all caps, "Butt out. I know what I'm doing. And stay away from Lonely Street." Gnats are in my nose and teeth. I'm laying down for good on this lonely street. On Lonely Street.
What do you mean, what do I think it means? It means what it says. Your dad wants you to leave him alone.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, that's what he wrote, right? Butt out. Maybe he's playing some kind of game, like with his friends. Maybe Manhunt.
But what about Lonely Street? Like, what's that mean? Where is Lonely Street, and why do I gotta stay away?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Now, he must need my help. He must be in, over his head, and he needs my help to come in and, fix it for him.
You sure you don't just want him to need your help?
No, I don't know.
Hey, before I forget, this is going to be my last singing lesson with you.
What? Why?
Couple reasons, but mostly I feel bad taking your money. I don't know how to teach singing.
I think I'm making progress.
I just sit here, man, and you just belt that one song.
You don't like the song?
It's okay, but, that's not the point. I'm not, teaching you anything. It's unethical.
Well, I could get a bass.
No, I'm giving up bass lessons too. Sorry, man. I'm trying to get my priorities straight, just really get disciplined. I gotta be focused on running.
Really?
Yeah, I want to run a marathon this year. Plus, I got other stressors and the 9-ballers. Like this guy who runs next to me, Vincent, he's got this inner ear infection, so his balance is just effed, and he keeps knocking into me, which is, all that combined, the marathon, the inner ear situation, I just got a lot on my plate right now.
Oh, man.
I should hit the hay.
Intermission.
Hey, man, thanks for sticking around. We're coming in for a landing here, so I think now's a good time for an intermission. Go ahead, stretch your legs, take the dog out, and I'll see you back here in a minute. And in the meantime, for anyone who doesn't need to get up out of their seats,
An intermission segment. A reading of Jason's only completed assignment from the Poetry of Questions. The assignment: write down 10 questions, any questions at all. What would you do with a big bag of money? What should I do? Does it even matter? Do you really think we're all made in God's image or made of stardust? What if I'm just like skin and hair? Remember how after you'd see a 3D movie or go in a 3D ride in Disney World or whatever, how at the end you'd have to toss your 3D glasses in that big trash can? Wasn't that always sad because the fun part was over? But what if you never even got your glasses to begin with and you gotta go through the whole movie and you can't even see clearly? Like everyone else is laughing and smiling together as this big group and you're just on your own flying blind and you don't know what to look at or what's even important? What would you do then? Chapter 8, Saint Cramp.
The next week was really quiet. No more Cowboys, no more singing lessons. Even my dad stopped sneaking out at night, so yeah, nothing on the docket really at all. Just a lot of time by myself. Until I decided to flip through my dad's notebook again, the one I found on the subway. Guess I was looking for something, anything. Aside from the stay away message my dad left me, the whole book was just full of numbers. It looked like The Matrix or something, but not, green. It was just normal pen color. I had no idea what I was looking at, except for one page, way in the back. I found something. At the bottom of this row of numbers I must have skimmed over, I found 2 words written in tiny letters. Saint Cramp. I Googled it. Nothing came up. Obviously there is no Saint Cramp. It means nothing. Right?
You've reached the voicemail of...
Hey, this is Eric. I'm not here right now. I'm focusing on running a marathon. Leave a message. Note, I don't give bass lessons anymore, so if this is about that, I will not call you back. Beep!
Rita, hey, I got breakfast for my dad here. I grabbed you a coffee too.
Wow, thanks. Come on in.
So how's it going today with Dad?
He's very, very boring.
Sure, yeah. And he's in his room now, or?
Yeah, he just woke up. Now he's sitting, staring at his feet.
Right, okay. And he hasn't tried leaving the apartment again?
Nope, just sits there, staring at his feet.
Yeah, you mentioned his feet. Hey, have you ever heard of Saint Cramp?
You said cramp?
Yeah, Saint Cramp. Does that mean anything to you?
No, it's nonsense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. What about the HEARTSICK Boys? Have you ever heard of the HEARTSICK Boys?
No.
Yeah, it's this movie. It came out in the 50s. It stars Wink Petterstone and Mickey the Mule Cicero.
Okay.
Yeah, Wink actually is the guy's, that's his real name. Wink. W-I-N-K.
Okay.
Yeah, it only costs like $6 on demand, I saw. So, I don't know, like would you want to watch the movie? Or?
Oh, no.
Ah, yeah. No, that's fine. It's, that's
it's
fine.
just, I'm working, so no.
That night, amid all the buzzing and whirring from the Quest diagnostics, my mind was racing. I couldn't stop thinking about Saint Cramp, and the worst part, there was nothing to do about it. And then I thought of something, a lead, I guess. So I got in my car and drove down to the dock where my dad jumped onto that medium-ish boat the week before. I thought, maybe if I look around for clues. I don't know, I didn't have a strong game plan. So I parked and I walked, and I felt dumb being there once I was there. Like, what am I doing? Then I made my way down the dock that my dad ran down, and the boat was there. The one my dad jumped onto, tied up in the slip. And being this close, I could see the name of the boat painted on its side, under the streetlights lining the dock. The boat was named Lonely Street.
Lonely Street.
So I looked around, saw I was alone on the dock, and I climbed onto the boat. I began searching, I don't know what for, but there was really nothing to see. Then I found a door. I tried the handle, and it was open. That's when I went below deck. Down there, looking around, there was a lot more to see, man. This whole area was filled with bins, floor to ceiling, These heavy-duty, dark blue plastic boxes. Rubbermaids, I believe they were. But they were all locked. I couldn't get a single lid open. But I'll tell you what I did gather. The same words were stamped on the sides of all of these boxes. They all said, Camel Solitario Solutions, Miami, Florida.
Camel Solitario Solutions, Miami, Florida.
A few moments pass and I figure it's time to go, not wanting to push my luck. And I'm about to head back up the stairs when, on the far wall, I spot a phone. An older one, rotary, kinda gotta slide the numbers. And I don't know why. I don't know what came over me, but something just kinda clicked in that moment as I'm staring at that phone. So I walk over and I pick it up. And I punch in the words Saint Cramp. But like the numbers, you know how phones all have the letters over the numbers? And the phone started to ring.
Thank you for calling Quest Diagnostics. Your call may be monitored or recorded. If you are a patient, press 1.
And that's when everything went dark. Like I was saying before, in jiu-jitsu, a rear naked choke is a move wherein your opponent chokes you from behind. Done correctly, the ever-tightening grip around the neck compresses both carotid arteries, which reduces cerebral blood flow, and in turn results in unconsciousness in a matter of 8.9 seconds on average. A rear naked choke is also known as a sleeper hold. That's what I learned after Googling this stuff when Aunt Gert's foster teens were using my dad as a grappling dummy. And that's how I knew instantly, below deck on this boat. Yeah, I was in a rear naked choke. Then, 8.9 seconds later, give or take, I was gone.
Chapter 9, 3D Glasses.
Neck. Somehow I woke up the next morning in my car, parked in my driveway. The humming Quest is what woke me up. I was confused and sore and angry, too, for being put to sleep via my neck. Being choked out, it's not great. It's an upsetting and frankly humiliating way to go to sleep. So I sat up and I checked my phone. It was exactly 6 a.m. I also saw that I had 2 voicemails, which, that's pretty cool. So I played them both.
The first voicemail.
Jason, I'm sure you're groggy waking up, but trust me, if the other ones had found you, well, you wouldn't be waking up at all. And honestly, I didn't think you'd go down that easy. Thought there'd be a fight, but it was like choking a trash bag full of old clothes set aside for donation. Truthfully, I do feel bad about that, so apologies. Yeah, anyway, listen. If you're smart, you'd walk away from all this. But you want to go forward? Fine. Here's what you do next, and I mean right now. Go to the airport. There will be a ticket waiting for you at the American Airlines desk. Your flight's bound for Miami. It leaves at 6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m.
Eastern Standard Time. Next steps will be obvious once you land, but understand one thing. This is your chance, and there won't be a second one. As for me, this is where my part ends, kid. Here on out, you're on your own.
The second voicemail.
Hey man, it's Eric, the bass teacher. Listen, remember that guy in my run group I was telling you about? Vincent kept bumping into me with the inner ear infection. Turns out it's not an infection. It's a permanent condition, which means his balance problems are only going to get worse. Apparently it has something to do with like his brain being too liquid, kind of like sloshes. He already had his driver's license revoked. Anyway, the important part, after weeks of Vincent bumping into us and finding out his balance won't get better, we took a vote and we kicked him out, which means we have an open spot in the group. I vouched for you, so if you want in, all you got to do is show up today at Frankfurt and Kottman at 6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m.
But it's got to be today, and it's got to be 6:30 on the dot, okay? Hope to see you, Jason.
we gotta get running here. Is your guy coming?
I think so. He should be.
It's 6:33. He's late. That's a bad start, Eric.
Hey, come on, Charlie, relax.
We're not here to relax, man. We're here to run. That's like the opposite of relaxing.
No, it's the opposite of... I was just going to say that. I mean, come on.
Come on. Like, come on, man. What's going on here?
Yeah, no, like if I wanted to relax, that'd be one thing. I'd be in a painting group.
Painting group, right. Yeah, we'd be called the 9 Painters instead. Yeah,
right.
how about that?
I warmed up already to run. Mm-hmm. And now I'm cooling down, which at that point, it's dangerous...
It's dangerous. That's what I was going to say.
I could sue for this.
You could get sued for this, legit. Like, you have a serious case.
So is this guy showing up or what?
All right, I guess if he's not coming...
Yo, Eric! Yo! Sorry I'm late, but I'm here.
Where's his shirt?
Where's your shirt? You need a shirt, man.
Oh, man, I thought you guys would have one for me. Like a jersey? And I didn't want to carry my original shirt if I was going to put on a new one. And I don't want to wear two. That would be too hot.
We don't do that. We don't have special shirts.
I don't know why I pictured shirts. When you talked about it before, it sounded like a legit team.
It's not bowling.
All right, tomorrow. I'll wear a shirt, definitely. So are we good to run? Am I in the group?
Your spy's back there, and we move like a 9-ball rack. In billiards.
Right, okay.
And it's like a diamond. Not like the triangle pool game. That's not us.
Yeah, no, 9-ball. I got it.
We'll see about that, new guy. 9-ballers, let's move!
You're back here, next to me. For the record, next time, you can't be late. Charlie won't have it.
Yeah, no, I won't. Today I kind of slept in by accident.
You okay, man?
Yeah. What? Why?
I don't know, you seem like exhausted?
No, I'm good. I'm good now.
Hey, so, the stuff with your dad, how's all that?
Oh, yeah, same pretty much, I guess.
Did you ever find Lonely Street?
Yeah, I did actually, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was there.
And?
And I don't want to go back.
Yo, what you sagging? Keep it 9-ball back there. 9-ball!
The HEARTSICK Boys was written and directed by Matt Schultz. Produced and sound designed by Will Kempner. Performed by Matt Schultz, Brendan O'Hare, Corey Snurowski, Chris Gilman, Jeremy Levick, Rajat Suresh, Sophia Manfredi, Brian Murphy, Josh Schultz, and Hannah Deere. Original song, Lonely Street, Face Lotion and FedEx Drivers, was performed by Jeff Marks. Lyrics by Matt Schultz. Special thanks to Kirsten Schnapoff and Jesse McGarry. This has been the HEARTSICK Boys. Hey, thanks for listening.
I thought she'd always be here. I shouldn't have assumed. She even took the mirrors. She cleared out every room. My face used to be smooth, moisturized day and night, but the lotion was hers too, and I don't know which brand to buy. guy.